Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media 5 days a week on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban, and thank you for joining us as you do each and every day of the program on Comcast Channel 15 and on AT&T Channel 99. In addition, you can find us online on CivicCenterTV.com. That's the place to go for the latest updates on our shows here each and every day on the Splash Live. Other special programming like West Bloomfield Lakers football and the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast happening on Friday this week and Tuesday of next week, respectively. And find our program calendar with listings of your favorite shows and municipal meetings every single day, every single week. CivicCenterTV.com. That's also where you'll find links to our social media, including our Facebook, where we're broadcasting live today on Facebook.com/CivicCenterTV15, and on YouTube, where you can find us at Civic Center TV as well. Diane, a lot cloudier over the next few days here in the Greater West Bloomfield community, but a bit of a warm-up also on its way.
So today, as you said, Tyler, it's going to get a lot cloudier. We're starting off with a very cloudy morning today, Thursday, and the clouds will they will break up, giving way for some sunshine throughout the afternoon, making it partly cloudy afternoon for today, with highs expected to reach 48 degrees, but then the clouds will come back. We will have a very cloudy evening, setting the stage for a cloudy morning with temperatures dropping low to 34 degrees today. But as we go into Friday, as we said, it is going to get a lot more cloudier for Friday and Saturday, but the temperatures are going to warm up. We're going to reach highs of 53 for both Friday and Saturday, and the lows of 41 degrees for tomorrow and 40 degrees for Saturday. Temperatures are expected to warm up, but as I said, it will continue to be cloudy for the next 2 coming days.
Yeah, and for those that may be going out to Utica Eisenhower on Friday night, the Swinehart Field in Shelby Township to view the West Bloomfield Lakers football game. Also going to be a little bit windier on Friday night throughout our local area, so that 40-degree low may feel a little bit more like it's in the high 30s by the time we get into the night portion of that game later on. So make sure you're dressed appropriately and you're prepared for some extra cold if you're outdoors on Friday night and through the weekend. When it will be colder, it'll be rainier, but it will be a lot warmer than it's been over the last few days, as we had even some snow earlier on this week in the Greater West Bloomfield community. Making headlines on this Thursday in Greater West Bloomfield, a Halloween scare a couple nights ago, not the kind that you were looking for, as a home caught fire in West Bloomfield Township. We'll tell you about that fire and give you some good news about those that escaped that fire on Tuesday evening. Good news out of Keagle Harbor and Sylvan Lake, and really all of our local area. Orchard Lake Road's construction is coming to a close very soon. We have updates on the construction on Orchard Lake Road from Mayor Rob Kalman out of Keagle Harbor in just a little bit. As we mentioned, the Lakers are going to Utica Eisenhower on Friday night for the district finals in District 2 of Region 3 in the MHSAA Division 1 football playoffs. We'll have live coverage of that on Friday night. We have confirmed our coverage of that game. We'll tell you where you can find us for your home broadcast on Friday night in just a little bit. Early voting continues today and through the weekend in Greater West Bloomfield. We'll tell you where you can vote and when you can vote Thursday through Sunday in anticipation of next week Tuesday's elections in our local community. Students at Gretchko Elementary School with their PTO got to go on a field trip earlier on this week and visit their local library. We'll tell you what they experienced at the library and some special accommodations being made for students in the West Bloomfield School District so they can get their library cards. You can still plan to attend the Veterans Memorial Breakfast, the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast as it's called, on Tuesday next week. We'll give you details on that event and how you can participate at this point, as registration for the event has come to a close. Plus, the Road Commission for Oakland County is looking to hire some additional staff for the winter season, anticipating an additional need for staff on our roads to clear roads and to work on vehicles all throughout the busiest season of the year. Craig Bryson from the Road Commission for Oakland County will join us to talk about those job opportunities in just a little bit. Then some really cool stories out of the Bloomfield Hills School District found in a 30-plus-year-old time capsule at the old West Hills Junior High / West Bloomfield Middle School / West Hills Middle School / now Lone Pine Elementary. We'll tell you about that story, including the interesting way that this time capsule was found just a few weeks ago. Trivia and the 80s are coming to Bloomfield Hills on Friday night in support of Keego Harbor and West Bloomfield's chapter of Blessings in a Backpack. We'll tell you details on what you'll experience at that event, as well as how you can attend. Also, how you can attend West Bloomfield High School's new show, their showing of Clue, which began last night and continues all through the weekend. Plus, some good advice from the West Bloomfield Police Department on keeping your belongings and your cars safe all throughout the year. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media all day long on the Splash Live. Stay with us. We'll return after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, vision that's close to home. Your West Bloomfield Lakers football team is back in the playoffs. Join us for live coverage of all post West Bloomfield WBTV, Comcast Channel 19, and AT&T Channel 99. All offseason, all Lakers, all the way to Ford Field. Laker playoff football exclusively on WBTV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media 5 days a week. Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM, civiccentertv.com, as well as on our social media. Follow us on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 and on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Civic Center TV for updates and live programming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Tuesday evening during Halloween festivities, a scary night in another way for a family here in the Greater West Bloomfield community as a fire broke out at about 7 p.m. in the area of 14 Mile and Middle Belt Road in West Bloomfield Township. All occupants of that home were able to escape safely and without injury. But the West Bloomfield Fire Department, as always, when these sort of things happen, lauding the family, this group of people, for having an escape plan, for executing that escape plan, and advocating also for people to refine their plans, even this time of the year as the weather gets colder and we use our heat more often, and we're maybe not attending to our cooking in our kitchen during the holiday season with a lot of visitors and whatnot in our home and a lot of other distractions. Different simple tasks that you can take or steps you can take in order to ensure your safety, including having a proper escape plan in every room of your home and attending to your kitchen safety as well as your cooking throughout this time of the year and the holiday season coming up as well, Diane. Really important to refine those plans to get the help that you need from the fire department if you need some advice on how to make those sound plans, because as we've seen through these fires recently over the last few months, those that have had plans have been able to escape mostly safely with a few injuries along the way, and unfortunately some deaths also in our local area, which proves just how deadly these fires can be and just how effective a quality escape plan can be if you're able to execute that quickly.
That is true, Tyler. It is very essential that we do create a fire escape plan for our families and practice it because we never know when it might happen. As you said, Tyler, as we go into the winter season, we are using more combustible materials inside, whether it's wood or oils or anything. If we can just, you never know when these kinds of things happen. In the back of our head, it will never happen to us. We're always seeing it happen to other people, but we never know when it might happen. So practicing those plans regularly with our family members, with our young ones, and making sure that we also have a plan to carry out our infants if they cannot walk outside themselves, or even our pets and other family animals. We must make sure that we do practice these plans throughout every once in a while, Tyler. And other things that people can do is make sure that they have fire extinguishers in accessible places or in places where there are combustible materials, like near their fireplaces or in their kitchen area. Make sure that we also have fire alarm system, a good functioning fire alarm system. We must test that every once in a while. Make sure the batteries are functioning properly. Make sure that we have them next to our bedrooms just in case it happens at night. And Tyler, some other tips is that we never leave anything combustible, or if you are cooking, never leave the kitchen unattended. Make sure that your cords and electric cords are functioning properly. They're not worn out. You're not overdoing it with and avoiding combustible materials. So there's a lot of things and tips we can do. We can always call the West Bloomfield Fire Department. They are more than happy to help with any tips or even help you create the proper fire plan. One more tip, Tyler, I must say, is something that I read recently on the ASPCA. In case you're outside of the house, it's a great thing to put a sticker for your pets, making sure that the EMS knows that you do have a pet inside and they are able to rescue that pet. So there's a lot of tips. You can always, again, check the West Bloomfield Fire Department at wbtownship.org/ department. You can check the fire department, give them a call on 248-409-1505 and make sure that they can help you. They're more than glad to help you. They're always here for our community members.
Yes, and they provide great advice in the process of that also in the greater West Bloomfield community. Again, wbtownship.org to get in contact with the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Call their non-emergency number and ask to speak either with the fire marshal, deputy fire marshal, or anyone that would be knowledgeable within the department and is available to speak about fire safety in your home and steps that you can take. Great advice to have this time of the year. And also, as we're trying to stay warm in our homes, maybe space heaters are being used. Don't leave those unattended. That's something that the fire department also talks about regularly this time of the year, and make sure those are also avoiding any flammable materials, including your carpet in your homes as well. Some good advice and plenty more to come from the West Bloomfield Fire Department. On the other side of town in Keagle Harbor, some good news from Mayor Robert Kalman, who wrote on Facebook earlier on this week that today and Friday, crews will be laying the second and final layer of asphalt on the remaining portions of Orchard Lake Road that have yet to be covered at this point in time. And then on Saturday, those areas of the roads will be striped, as well as the others, to finally get Orchard Lake Road fully reopened. And with all this being in place, if there are no weather delays or other equipment or staffing or resource delays, Orchard Lake Road can be expected to be open both ways all across the way by sometime later Saturday afternoon, according to Mayor Kalman earlier on this week. You're seeing pictures right now of last week as crews were making way on the other half of Orchard Lake Road, that first layer of asphalt having gone down late last week. And these pictures on your screen on CivicCenterTV.com and on our cable TV channels from Karen Meebroad, a planning commissioner in Keagle Harbor. Robert Kalman, the mayor, also posting a picture earlier on this week from the corner of Orchard Lake Road and Commerce Road, where the construction began just a few months ago and has definitely been a headache for those in the local area. But he also said that some touch-up work and small items will continue to be taken care of going forward. But those orange barrels across Orchard Lake Road will start to subside later on into this week and into the weekend. And all the big work is coming to a close on Orchard Lake Road, which is good news for everyone in the Tri-Cities, Dayan, getting through that area of that part of our community, as it is the major thoroughfare of both Orchard Lake Village, Keegle Harbor, and Sylvan Lake, especially Keegle Harbor and Sylvan Lake.
It's great news to have these routes back in action. Tyler, we know that it's been very hard, not only for the people who are traveling this route, but also for the businesses surrounding this this construction area, this roadworks area. So we are very glad to have that back, to get them back in action, and to have this so much smoother travel, Tyler. We all hate the chaos of traveling back and forth, especially in the early morning, especially in the cold. It's kind of hard. So we're very glad that these roadworks are coming to an end.
Yeah, and those dedicated turn lanes on Orchard Lake Road, you think about Orchard Lake Road and Castle Lake Road did have a dedicated turn lane there, but throughout the rest of that area, it had always been kind of difficult or had impeded traffic, at least in one lane on either side, where when someone was trying to turn left to go to either the businesses or get into neighborhoods from some of the smaller side streets in the communities instead of using those main roads initially. That will not be the case with this newly designed version of the road. And so now, after all this headache, after all the complaints over the last several months with this construction causing major delays and more recently, more minor delays across the Orchard Lake Road corridor in our communities, now the community gets to see what the benefit of that is going forward in our local area. So some good news from Mayor Kalman in Keegle Harbor and from the Road Commission for Oakland County, expected to complete the vast majority of this project and return Orchard Lake Road to normal sometime later on Saturday, but we can expect it at least sometime over this weekend. Across town, really across the local area in Utica on Friday night, the West Bloomfield Lakers continued their MHSAA Division I playoff football campaign against the Eisenhower Eagles on the road. And this is a very close matchup between the 8-2 West Bloomfield Lakers and the 9-1 Utica Eisenhower Eagles. So close that in the playoff point rankings, which determine who's home and who's away and somewhat determines the seeding of these teams in the Division I playoffs and in each district and region, West Bloomfield was less than half of a full playoff point behind Utica Eisenhower in the rankings. That one loss either to Lake Orion or to Clarkston being the big difference maker there. West Bloomfield having 2 losses to Lake Orion and Clarkston during the regular season, and Utica Eisenhower having just 1 loss on the regular season. That makes Friday night's game very interesting, and a lot of eyes and a lot of people wanting to get their eyes on that game on Friday night. That has caused for a busy media situation, which is why we've taken a bit of a delay getting the information to you, as we've been making arrangements all throughout the week with the MHSAA and with Utica Eisenhower. On Friday night, we will be broadcasting the game between the Eagles and your West Bloomfield Lakers. However, it will be a radio-only broadcast in our local area. We won't have visual from the game, but we will have audio from the game. Dave Scott and I, the old team from years past, will be back on the call. I'll be there for play-by-play. Dave Scott on color commentary, and we'll have that game broadcast for you audio only on 89.3 Lakes FM, but we'll also simulcast our radio broadcast on Civic Center TV and on WBTV, as well as on our website on civiccentertv.com. Stay with us throughout the rest of the day today and tomorrow for even more details. And our coverage, you can expect it to begin at about 6:20 to 6:30 p.m. on Friday night with This Week in Laker Football as per usual. And then around 6:45 or 6:50, you can expect the Laker pregame show with Dave Scott and I before kickoff at 7 o'clock. Expect a great game. West Bloomfield and Utica Eisenhower over the past several years have had some very close, very hard-fought matchups. Last year, West Bloomfield having Ike come into our community for the final regular season home game as one of the out-of-district, out-of-conference games for both of those teams. And Eisenhower was without their 4-year starter, Preston Crum, last year. Wide receiver Brandon Kedro ended up playing starting quarterback for them in that final week of the season as West Bloomfield won that game quite comfortably. But a couple of years ago, West Bloomfield had gone out to Utica Eisenhower for the other side of that home matchup out of division and out of conference. And Preston Crum, as a sophomore, was excellent at the quarterback position. This is a team that has a very, very strong offensive line, averaging 267 pounds per player, over 1,300 pounds on their offensive line among those 5 players on Friday night. And so it's going to be tough for that Laker defensive line to brute their way through. They're going to have to be a little bit more finesse, but they also have that in their arsenal And on the offensive side, West Bloomfield's got some talent all across the board on the receiving court and certainly in the running game. We've seen that over the past several weeks. But Utica Eisenhower, a senior-laden team, an upperclassman-laden team with a lot of talent themselves, and they've gone up against some very tough opponents all throughout the season, including Romeo, Macomb, Dakota, Clarkston as well. Played them hard earlier on in the season, and they've been able to handle their business very well. Chippewa Valley, also a team that we've seen, and Utica Eisenhower has seen earlier on in the season. So expect a really hard-fought matchup, an interesting game on Friday night on the road, and some information also for you. As we talked about West Bloomfield, the only two teams the Lakers have lost to this season are the only two teams the Lakers could potentially see in the regional semifinal if they are to beat Utica Eisenhower on the road on Friday night. Clarkston and Lake Orion, the other game in this particular district coming up on Friday night, in this particular region coming up on Friday night. So it could set up a very interesting OAA Red Division rematch again next week should the Lakers take care of business on Friday night. Again, our coverage will begin at 6:30, about 6:30 on Friday night with This Week in Laker Football, Laker pregame show after that, and kickoff at 7 o'clock from Swinehart Field in Utica. Again, we will have a audio-only broadcast on Friday night, 89.3 Lakes FM on the radio, and our audio will be simulcast on both Comcast Channel 15, Civic Center TV, Comcast Channel 19, WBTV, and on AT&T Channel 99 on both Civic Center TV and the West Bloomfield School District's TV channels as well. Stay with us on civiccentertv.com/Lakersports for the full details on this Friday night's broadcast from our team. All across the board. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, early voting continues throughout the greater West Bloomfield area today and throughout the weekend. We'll give you details on that, plus a fun trip to the library for Gretchko students and how you can attend Heroes Appreciation Breakfast with us over Civic Center TV next week, Tuesday. Stay with us. The Splash Live continues after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft and Dayan Chaaban as they go through headlines, events, and update you on the day-to-day in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at CivicCenterTV.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Great West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media 5 days a week on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. As we approach next week, Tuesday, which is Election Day in our local communities, you have an opportunity to vote before you even have to go to the polls on Tuesday. You can get your votes in early in West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, and Orchard Lake, and select communities also that are having elections on Tuesday. All throughout the local area now and all through Sunday, utilizing early voting allowed in our local area. That began 9 days before the primary, before the actual election day, before the election day proper. In-person Saturday voting began last week, and then all throughout this week we've also had in-person voting in select areas in our communities, as well as a general site, the central site for Oakland County at Waterford Oaks Activity Center. So in each of our 3 communities that have elections next week, West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, and Orchard Lake Village, there are 2 different places you can get your votes in early, either at your city or township hall in West Bloomfield. That would be West Bloomfield Civic Center, 4550 Walnut Lake Road. That's at Town Hall in the Town Hall boardroom. In Keego Harbor, that's at Keego Harbor City Hall. And at Orchard Lake, that's also at Orchard Lake City Hall. Those are your primary sites to go vote early if you want to vote early either today, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of this week. If you can't make it out to those locations, or it's more convenient for you to stop in and vote early at another location, there is a central site in Waterford. Again, that's Waterford Oaks Activity Center at 2800 Watkins Lake Road in Waterford, Michigan. Today's voting times are later than the others. All other days for early voting have been 8:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. On this Thursday, extended hours, 8 hours of early voting opportunity on the Thursday before the election. 12 noon it begins, 8 o'clock tonight it ends, but you'll also have an opportunity on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, November 3rd through the 5th, from 8:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. to vote either at your local city or township hall or at the central early voting site at Waterford Oaks Activity Center. Dayan, giving people an opportunity to get out to the polls before the day of the election and have plenty of selected dates to be able to go and get their voice heard in the local election, whether that is in the 9 days before the election or on the day of the election. Essentially, you got 10 days worth of a window to get your votes in if you're not either going to the polls, can't make it out to the polls, aren't sure about that, or haven't submitted your vote by absentee ballot.
That is true, Tyler. So it gives people more accessibility, if I must say. So it's increased accessibility for people who might have commitment on election day, or who might have probably some other things to do, or either they cannot go, they have probably some physical, something preventing them, some physical disability. It might be easier for them to just go on the day before the election day to cast their votes before it gets too chaotic on election day, as we might know. And also, Tyler, it allows people to make an informed decision. So they have more time to think about what they are voting for and study their vote properly so they can cast their votes properly. And it also creates a more inclusive environment. So making sure that all these people, they have all this time to cast their votes allows them to be more inclusive in their community, makes informed decision, and there's a lot of benefits to it. So we're very thankful for this initiative by our township.
Yeah, there are certain initiatives that are on these ballots that may affect parts of the community. There are select items on each different community's ballots. So I know in West Bloomfield Township, there is a Bloomfield Hills Schools related item on there. It may be best if you're not sure if you are eligible to vote in this current election, because you'd have to be in the Bloomfield Hills School District to vote on that particular item. It's good to also get in contact with your local clerk's office to make sure, A, you're registered to vote if you're not sure, or find resources to be able to figure that out, and B, to make sure you are eligible to vote in this election if it is a local item that's specific to one school district versus the other based on your geographical location in our 4 communities. So before we move on, phone numbers to contact your local city halls and our 4 communities here. West Bloomfield Township, you can contact the clerk's office at 248-451-4848. Debbie Binder in the clerk's office can be contacted again, 248-451-4848. In the city of Keego Harbor, contact city manager and city clerk Tammy Neeb or Stacy Goodall, their deputy clerk, at 248-682-1930, 248-682-1930. And in the city of Orchard Lake Village, Rhonda McClellan, the clerk, and her office can be contacted at 248-682-2400, 248-682-2400 for more information on early voting. At the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, a very special group of kindergartners from Gretchko Elementary School came in to explore 100 books to read in kindergarten. It was a field trip that was co-sponsored by the Gretchko Parent-Teacher Organization, or PTO. And on the trip, kids got a tour of the library, got to look through the kids area also, look into book checkout processes and understand how to check out a book at their local library, and were read one of the 100 books on that 100 books to read in kindergarten list. In addition, Diane, each student got a copy of one of the books on that list to take home and read on their own, as well as their very own library card. And what's also interesting that they noted, that the library noted, and the Gretchko PTO noted in their post about this, is that all West Bloomfield School District students are eligible for a West Bloomfield Township Public Library card, even if they don't live in one of the 4 communities in Greater West Bloomfield that is covered by the library, being West Bloomfield Township, Keiko Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, or Sylvan Lake. As long as you are a student in the West Bloomfield School District, you are eligible for a library card.
Tyler, and we must say that there's a lot that comes with this library card. We have talked about this before. It's not just accessible for people who want to go in the library. It's not just to go in and rent a book and show them your card, but there's also a lot of other things they can do with it. They can visit the website, wblib.org, and see everything that comes with it. They have plenty of resources, plenty of ebooks, plenty of e-games as well, educational e-games for all these elementary students, and also some educational movies and also music, Tyler. So there's a lot that comes with this library card. It's not the usual library card that we used to have back in the day where you just use it to rent a library book. One other thing that I must say, Tyler, I'm very happy to see these elementary students go into the library. I'm very happy that the PTO organized this event. We are so glad, I'm personally so glad to see these young kids enjoy the library, read a book that entices their creativity versus sitting on their iPads, because it really bothers me to see young kids very attached to technology, and that might curb or impede their creativity, if I must say. And this is not just me talking, this is also research and science-based. So I'm very happy that the PTOs and our educators are working together to take these kids back to the library, making sure that they are reading those awesome books and just enjoying the library overall. And giving them these cards will want them to come back or be more integrated in library activities.
Yeah, in visual storytelling, they always tell us, the piece of advice I always got about telling stories visually is to show, not to tell. And in this case, showing these kids what opportunities are available at the library, take them through the process, showing them one of the books they can read, and showing them, okay, yeah, these stories are kind of fun. We can learn something from this. We can have fun reading is a lot more of an effective way to show them that there are learning opportunities and opportunities for fun that aren't just involving technology. So really good stuff from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library and the PTO at Gretchko Elementary School. More information on the library can be found at wblib.org and on the school district from wbsd.org as well. Next week, Tuesday, we'll come together as a community at between 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. at West Bloomfield Middle School for the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast, celebrating our veterans in our local community in recognition of Veterans Day. Registration is still open, but today is the final day to register if you would like to attend the event. If you're not a veteran, you can attend the event for tickets at $15 per ticket. But if you are a veteran, both you and a guest get into the event for free. Registration is continuing to be open for the rest of the day today at wbparks.org. Right on their homepage, they have a Heroes Appreciation Breakfast link so you can get more information. There'll be live entertainment, guest speakers, the police and fire honor guards, and plenty of great presentations at this year's event. It's always been fun in the past few years to come together with our veterans to recognize them at this event and to hear some of their stories along the way, and the families of veterans and their stories along the way as well. This year's event, we talked to Megan Tahako from West Bloomfield Parks just a couple days ago, and you can find that conversation on CivicCenterTV.com on our on-demand page. It's going to be a great event again this year. It should be very entertaining. Going to be emceed by our fire chief, Greg Flynn, who always puts on a good show along with our veterans. We'll hear from Major General Robert Smith from the United States Army as the keynote speaker at this year's event, and we'll also have that broadcast for you on Civic Center TV on Tuesday morning. So there won't be a splash next week Tuesday, but in this case we will have the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast live from West Bloomfield Middle School on Tuesday morning. The show, our coverage will begin right around 9 o'clock with the show proper at the event beginning shortly after 9 o'clock. And you can always keep up to date with it and watch it live on CivicCenterTV.com. Diane, a great way for us to come together and recognize our veterans, thank them for their service, and put on a good show for them also in West Bloomfield.
That is true, Tyler. I bet it's going to be a very fun event. It shows how grateful we are to our veterans for their service, for protecting the whole nation, not just our own community. So this is a great way to come together as a community and show them how grateful we are by celebrating them, listening to their stories, and just enjoying what the keynote speaker has to say. I bet there's plenty stories that's going to be said there. It's a great way, again, Tyler, to show them how much we really appreciate them for everything they have done and for the sacrifices they have done for us.
Yeah, we heard from a Navy official at last year's event, and so we know the Army, Major General Robert Smith from the Army is going to come in wanting to one-up his competition from their friends over at the U.S. Navy at this year's event. Again, it's going to begin about 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, our coverage on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 Lakes FM. You can still attend. You can register online through the rest of the day on Thursday today, November 2nd, the final day to register for this event. WBparks.org for more information. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, job opportunities in our local community with the Road Commission for Oakland County as we approach the colder months of the year. The snow already having made its way into the community this week. That means more that's on its way, plus ice and other hazards through the winter season on the roads. And the Road Commission for Oakland County needs help from additional staff in our local area. Craig Bryson, the Senior Communications Manager from the Road Commission for Oakland County, joins us next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. Your stories from your hometown on your community media 5 days a week. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban, and thank you for joining us each and every day. Again, you can always keep up to date with us on CivicCenterTV.com as well as on our social media at Facebook, on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on YouTube at Civic Center TV. As we approach the winter season, that means we need to be ready, and our crews need to be ready to clear our roads and keep our local area safe on our commutes to and from work and all throughout our local area. The Road Commission for Oakland County always is hard at work all throughout the snowy season, and they're looking for even more people to join their team as we approach winter of 2023 and 2024. Joining us to talk about these open positions is the Senior Communications Manager for the Road Commission for Oakland County, Craig Bryson, on today's edition of the Splash Live. Craig, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Tyler. Good to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you on as we are approaching the end of October and early portions of November. It seems to some maybe that's a little bit early to get prepared for winter, but this is pretty normal for the Road Commission for Oakland County to start about this time or even earlier, getting ready for the harsh winter seasons in Michigan.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we've actually been preparing for a couple of months now in various ways, making sure our equipment's ready, getting employees trained. It's a long process, and actually we've had snowstorms in October, so we want to be prepared whenever the inclement weather hits.
And with that being the case, you got to get both equipment ready, but also staff ready. So how does that happen in a typical season for the Road Commission for Oakland County?
Well, we go around to each of our 6 garages. We do refresher training for the drivers. We talk about safety. We talk about protocol. We talk about the processes they go through, how they manage their equipment, make sure it stays running. And we also attempt to hire additional, part-time employees to boost our staff during the winter months.
And how critical is it to have that additional part-time staff? I know that's the focus right now from the hiring side, but what difference does that part-time staff make in addition to all your full-time staff?
It really helps out when we do have those big storm events, especially the ones that last multiple days. We can then have backup drivers available to support our full-time drivers. So it's critical for that aspect. It also just helps out in doing the routine maintenance that we do aside from the plowing and salting all winter long. They help out in that process, including pothole patching and other critical activities as well.
Craig, Bryson joins us from the Road Commission for Oakland County, their senior communications manager, as the Road Commission is looking to hire part-time laborers and drivers for the winter snow and ice season. You can find more information on rcocweb.org and apply for these open positions. And so, Craig, as we are approaching this season, as you're looking to hire these workers, what are the qualifications you're looking for if people are seeking these part-time jobs?
First and foremost, they have to have a commercial driver's license with an A designation, also known as a CDL-A, truck driving background, road maintenance background certainly be helpful, but a CDL-A is a definite requirement. And if you have that, please give us a call. One nice thing about these positions is if you're looking maybe down the road to get into the Road Commission full-time, this is a great stepping stone. We get to know you, you get to know us, you learn about what we do, and inevitably we have openings for full-time positions, and we first look at those who have worked for us part-time to fill those full-time spots as well.
And so when you're talking about the part-time laborer and driver positions, differentiate those for us. For those that would be laborers, is that more along the lines of mechanic work or road repair work, or maybe a little bit of both?
Well, actually, it is a single position. They would be both a laborer and a driver. So during inclement weather, they would be driving a salt truck, typically. But when it's not snowing or we don't have a storm, they would be doing other laborer activities such as pothole patching, drainage repair, that type of tasks.
So, Craig, take us through the staffing logistics as you're approaching what's expected to be a big storm in our local area, or even just a minor storm. How does that go forth? Because for those that are applying for these part-time jobs, the Road Commission had said in a post on their Facebook page that they can be expected to work about 3 days per week, but also be on call, although every attempt is made to establish consistent work schedules.
Right. So what we try to do is establish 3 full-time days, 3-hour days, 8-hour days for the employees. And if a snowstorm occurs during that time, they would probably be called upon to jump in a salt truck or a snow plow and do their part. But if a big storm hits on one of the other days, they would be required to be on call. They'd be called, asked to come in, and just like our full-time staff, they could then work up to 16 hours, fighting the storm before they get a break, and potentially multiple 16-hour shifts in a row. Though typically the part-time staff don't work too many of those multiple long shifts in a row, and we try to give them breaks and work people through. But it's a very good way to give our full-time drivers some backup and keep the roads safe during those events.
And from the Road Commission side, Craig, where does that communication begin as you're looking at the reports coming in from meteorologists, from the National Weather Service or other local outlets, and seeing that we're going to have a storm come in or possibly a major storm come in? Where do the logistics begin to prepare for that storm and then ultimately to execute the Road Commission's response to that storm, clearing and making our roads safe?
Right. So we have something called a snow duty officer, which is a management individual, and it rotates on a weekly basis during the winter. And during the week that person's on duty, it is their responsibility to monitor the weather, decide when to call in the troops and how many troops to call in. But we also have a guidebook that has very specific requirements for how many drivers we have, how many trucks we have out of the road in every imaginable situation. If it's during a morning rush hour on a weekday versus during the middle of the night on a weekend, different levels of service that we would require in each of those. Again, every imaginable scenario. That person has access to a weather service that we contract with that gives us frequent updates when there's a storm coming, gives us warning that storms are coming. We also have access to the National Weather Service. They update us frequently. And of course, they monitor all the local media weather outlets as well. So they've got a variety of sources. We have access to Doppler radar. We track the storms on Doppler radar. And try to use as many of those data points as possible to make the best decision possible in those situations.
Craig Bryson joins us from the Road Commission for Oakland County, their Senior Communications Manager on the Splash Live, as the Road Commission for Oakland County seeks to hire part-time winter laborers and drivers. And those jobs are available now on rcocweb.org on their careers tab, rcocweb.org, or you can call them at 248-645-2000 for more information, 248-645-2000. And with this, Craig, comes the questions of how these responses to storms are operated by the Road Commission for Oakland County. It seems like every year we hear all these complaints in the community after the first big storm. Why is it taking forever for my street or my main road in my local community to be cleared? And it seems like all the highways and other areas are already cleared and perfectly fine. So for those that either don't remember or have never been aware of this, what is that sort of order of operations that the Road Commission goes by to clear our roads as we approach the winter?
Yeah, we have a very specific prioritization system of the roads when there is a storm, and it's dictated by safety. So the number one priority is the roads that carry the most traffic moving at the highest speeds. That's the freeways and the biggest surface streets. And then we work down from there based on traffic volume and type of volume. Major traffic generators such as shopping malls or schools are bumped up a little bit in that priority list, but the top priority is going to be those main roads, the Orchard Lake roads, the Southfield roads, Big Beaver, and of course all the freeways, 696, I-75, M59, I-275. Those are all the top priorities, and we will focus on those to ensure safety on those before we move to the lower level roads. Of course, that means that the neighborhood streets, the subdivision streets, are at the bottom of that priority list because they have the least traffic moving at the lowest speeds. And if we cleared the subdivision streets before we cleared the main road, you wouldn't be able to get anywhere outside of your neighborhood anyhow. So we always clear in that priority list, working down based on traffic volume and speed.
Craig Bryson's with us from the Road Commission for Oakland County. Senior Communications Managers, they seek to hire some winter staff to supplement their full-time staff as they get geared up for de-icing and for clearing our roads this winter season. Craig, for those that are interested in this work and joining the Road Commission on a part-time basis during this winter season, do you have any information you can divulge to us on what the pay may be like for that, as that always comes into a factor as people are looking for part-time work?
Absolutely. It's $21 an hour. And then if you get called in, it's additional pay for any additional hours you work, of course. And I have to say the Road Commission is a fantastic place to work. You'll be working with great crews. Their supervisors are great. It's really a caring community. And it's an opportunity to do something that really does benefit the communities that we all live in and help make Oakland County a better place and a safer place and keep our roads safe and functioning.
And Craig, before we let you go, is there anything else about these positions we haven't discussed that would be important for potential candidates to consider, or other information we should be keeping in mind as we approach the winter season?
Not just to other than to reiterate that these are a great stepping stone. If you have a desire to find a full-time career at the Road Commission, we would welcome you to start through this and let us know your desire, and we'd be glad to work with you and try to get you into a full-time spot.
More information can be found on rcocweb.org by clicking on their careers tab or giving them a call at 248-645-2000. Craig, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate the opportunity.
Appreciate it. rcocweb.org, and go to their careers tab to find information on these part-time laborer and driver positions available and keep up to date on other future job openings with the Road Commission for Oakland County. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media coming up next.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft and Dayan Chaaban as they go through headlines, events, and update you on the day-to-day in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media 5 days a week. Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM, online on civiccentertv.com, as well as on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 and YouTube at Civic Center TV. Really interesting story out of West Bloomfield from the Bloomfield Hills School District. Back in 1982 at West Hills Junior High, a social studies class buried a time capsule and left maps for students in the future to discover their time capsule years down the road. It wasn't students that discovered this time capsule, however, while installing new playground equipment for the now Lone Pine Elementary School's new location at the old West Hills Middle School location on Lone Pine Road just past Middlebelt. Crews found a beat-up garage can behind a new classroom space at what was previously the West Hills Middle School art room at that facility. Inside the time capsule, plenty of trinkets from back in the 80s, including a McDonald's styrofoam container, multiple containers, a vinyl record, a newspaper, as well as a student newsletter from that time in 1982, plus small paint containers, a bike license, some broken down letters, and more, all placed in this time capsule back in 1982. You're seeing some of these items on your screen on civiccentertv.com. Really cool story out of the Bloomfield Hills School District. They have even more details on this time capsule, how it was put away and how it was found, and also pictures of some of the items inside, including one of these letters that was, of course, broken down over the years, 31 years in the ground for this time capsule. But you can get the full story on the website of the Bloomfield Hills School District at bloomfield.org. Dayan, really cool story out of the old West Hills Junior High / West Hills Middle School / now Lone Pine Elementary.
So this is pretty interesting to step back into the past and see what students, for the students who found these or who are looking at these right now, students who are in West Hill right now, thinking about these students that were here in the 80s, thinking about all these really awesome stuff, these simple stuff like even how McDonald's styrofoam looked like previously, or the clothes they wore, the very long socks. That was like a mark of the 80s. So it's pretty interesting to take a look back in the future and to see that they actually, if you read the letter, they actually did it on purpose. They were doing this as a social studies project to make sure that they leave a mark or they leave a legacy for the students who are coming after them.
Yeah, take a true look back at the 80s through this time capsule at West Hills Middle School and now Lone Pine Elementary School. Having been a student at West Hills Middle School when I was in middle school, I know exactly that location that they're talking about as they described in there. They said it was just outside of what was formerly the art classroom at West Hills Middle School and is now being converted into one of their elementary school learning spaces. Just outside of that, they were installing some new playground equipment, and as they dug through the ground, they found this time capsule. So that visualization there, quite clear for me, having been a student there in the past. Really cool story. I encourage you to read it in full and take a look at some of those items that they found in that time capsule. Again, it's posted on the Bloomfield Hills School District's website on bloomfield.org. On Friday night, you can take a trip back to the 80s yourself. Do that in reverse, that reverse time capsule back to 80s night at the Blessings in a Backpack Trivia Night happening at the Greek Orthodox Church in Bloomfield Hills. That's at 43816 Woodward Avenue in Bloomfield Hills. Of course, as we mentioned, an 80s theme, but not just trivia, but a cash bar, a 50-50 raffle, prizes, and more. And all the proceeds from this event, with tickets being $40 per person. The proceeds go to support Blessings in a Backpack of West Bloomfield and Keego Harbor. This is run entirely by volunteers that raise funds, order items, and pack and deliver backpacks to students with non-perishable meals, 6 non-perishable meals to go home with them every single weekend for kids that are in food insecure situations in the West Bloomfield School District. Diana, great cause for people if they want to support Blessings in a Backpack and have a fun night of trivia on Friday night in Bloomfield Hills. They can get more information on blessingsinabackpack.org/events or by calling Kathy Chico, who heads the Blessings in a Backpack chapter in West Bloomfield and Keego Harbor, at 248-521-0074.
Tyler, it's great to know and very heartwarming to know that it's completely run by volunteers that want to help our students, that want to help them have a better, successful student life and not have to worry about the simple stuff such as having food or supplies to take into school. So making sure that we do have food security is essential. I know that some people are not feeling this, but at this time and moment, we are facing a challenge. Food security is a challenge, and we don't want our kids to go to school worrying about these essential things. We want them to only focus on their studies. We want the parents to feel safe enough to send these students with the food and the backpack. So it's a great purpose. And again, as you said, they're not just going there to help these students, but they're also going to have a lot of fun. Trivia nights are always so much fun because it's kind of mind picking. It's picking your mind. It's getting this information, and also, again, you are helping out with food security issues in our community.
Yeah, you can learn some things and test out your trivia knowledge on Friday night, and then over the weekend also help solve a mystery at West Bloomfield High School as their stage production of Clue is already underway. It kicked off yesterday on Wednesday at 1 o'clock at West Bloomfield High School, but they have shows today, on Friday, and on Saturday, all at 7 o'clock at West Bloomfield High School. General admission to get into their production of Clue at the high school is $10. Students of West Bloomfield High School and senior citizens in our community can get into the show for $5. And if you are a West Bloomfield School District staff member, you plus one other can get in. You get 2 tickets for free if you work in the Bloomfield Hills School, in the West Bloomfield School District. You get 2 tickets for free. Or if you're a gold card member of the West Bloomfield Theater Program, you also get into this production for free. It's going to be a great night of character acting both today, tomorrow, and on Saturday. All those shows happening at 7 o'clock at West Bloomfield High School. More information can be found on WBSD.org or go to their Facebook page, also the West Bloomfield School District's Facebook page, facebook.com/West Bloomfield Schools, for even more information. Diane, expect it to be a great presentation over the next few days, and these students acting, taking on very specific characters, interacting in a variety of different ways during this production of Clue, and hopefully it will be very entertaining, much like often it is playing the board game it's based off of.
Tyler, it's also a great way to show our students in the art field that we're backing up on whatever they are doing. So it's not just the science field or even the sports. We tend to somewhat ignore sometimes the theater, and this is quite essential. We want to be there, we want to support them, and we love what they're doing. It's definitely a very creative theater show. It's different, so it's great to watch and also to support our students.
Again, more information on the Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools if you want to learn more about the production of Clue. Finally, before we move on, West Bloomfield Police Department is providing some advice to the community to prevent larceny from your automobiles or car thefts in our local community. Warning just after Halloween earlier on this week of, quote, trick-or-treaters on the other 364 days of the year, end quote, saying lock it or lose it. They're advising you to keep your valuable items, of course, out of sight in your automobile, especially if you're parked outdoors, or if better yet, if you're going to have valuables in your car and you can park it in your garage, and close that garage door. But at the very least, you should always lock your doors and keep your windows of your cars shut when you're not in the vehicle, or you're going to be away from the vehicle for even a short period of time. They say do this whenever you step away from your car, as we've seen larceny from autos throughout our community not be uncommon in the past years. We hear a lot about this advice from Keiko Harbor's Police Chief John Fitzgerald in the past, but also from the West Bloomfield Police Department and others in our local area. These are crimes of opportunity, and so good advice to eliminate or lessen that opportunity for criminals in our local area looking to break into your cars.
Tyler, yes, that is true. We have heard about this, and we've been talking to people. We talked about this, I think, previously in the last month. There was a lot of incidents where the cars were stolen, so we got to make sure that our cars are locked. There is no valuables in the car, and if you do have valuables that you must keep in the car, make sure that they are not visible to people passing by your car. They are not visible through the windows, so you would avoid anybody trying to break into your car and taking these valuables. Make sure that there are no keys in. Some people actually, and funny enough, I've heard about some incidents where people leave their car keys inside the car as they go into the store, or as they go into the house to get some belongings and then come back out. Never ever do this. It's always better to be safe than sorry. As you said, Tyler, keep those windows up. Make sure that your cars are in the garage if you are in for the night, and if you don't have, if you don't have inaccessible garage, make sure that your cars are not easily accessible or broken into from whoever wants to break, from these artists, from these thieves.
Yeah, more information and helpful advice can be found on the West Bloomfield Police Department's Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media each and every day of your work week. Stay with us. The Splash Live will continue very soon.